Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. This is Disruptive Friday. We begin in Africa. Inventors are full of innovative ideas, but the financial hurdles they face are often immense. Sharing their concepts with potential investors can be daunting as it puts their intellectual property at risk. But here at TV47, we have devised an ingenious way to connect aspiring innovators with investors who believe in their dreams. We shall soon disrupt that space on Disruptive Fridays. Just to get the context of the challenges faced by African investors, or inventors rather, let's have a look at this piece co-produced with our partners, AFP.
Kubik, a tech company in Ethiopia, takes in bundles of discarded plastics and sorts them into piles. Selected plastics are mixed, melted and combined with additives, then molded into desired black beams and interlocking blocks, which today are being assembled in a pilot project of building daycare center in the capital, Addis Ababa.
It's mainly plastic waste, recycled plastic waste that that forms into these construction materials. As far as assembly, the idea is for it to be super simple. You would need an air contract with you have a manual, and the whole point is to get it done with inexperienced workers, obviously under supervision. So it's ease of assembly is there. It's very easy and simple.
The site has no cranes or cement mixers, just a concrete floor on which 4 workers make a wall by fitting the blocks together. The beams are bolted together on all 4 sides of the walls to hold up the structure. According to the company, the recycling generates just 1/5 of the carbon from cement making. If Kubik's plant processes 45 tons of ditched plastics each day, that is 100,000 tons of carbon dioxide is averted each year. There is a trickle-down socially, subjecting a huge percentage of individuals into informal waste pickers, many of whom are women.
So what we're able to do today in the one factory that we have in Ethiopia is convert 13 million kilos of plastic waste every single year and convert it into over 5,000 affordable housing units.
Funding is one of the challenges faced by this innovation, as out of $415 billion in risk capital deployed around the world, just over 1%, which is about $5.4 billion goes to Africa.
When you look at the amount of venture capital deployed around the world, barely 1% goes to Africa. So there is a real need to increase the amount of venture capital coming into Africa.
Les montants de capital risque qui arrivent en Afrique.
Kubik's CEO, Kudus Asfo, while recalling the struggles, notes that he battled to get seed money for his company. He received a lot of knockbacks from worry investors, making him to almost give up.
When it comes to raising money as a startup, it's an uphill battle in the beginning, and it's a very scary thing, especially when it's the first startup that you're forming. In my case, I was very fortunate that I had a group of people, both from family, friends, business acquaintances from the past, that really knew me, really believed in what we were doing, and were willing to give us that initial catalytic seed that we needed to get going.
Other startups have recorded that bias from investors has been a problem to majority of the companies, with the beneficiaries winning the seed on familiarity basis, while quoting corruption as the main reason blocking foreign investors from investing in Africa. The startups say that the continent is a safe place for investors and tells of corruption as just a negative sentiment that aims to cripple innovation in Africa.
In the digital world, if you don't have the opportunity in an African country, what do? Well, you go to another country and you see a lot of young Africans with very good ideas, brilliant ideas, who say to themselves that in the end, it may be much easier to go to Silicon Valley or to invest in Paris or to go to the Middle East rather than to invest in Africa.
Jackson Chacha, TV47.
Well, that is one of the issues that Disruptive Fridays is planning to go big on. But tonight, the main discussion is about artificial intelligence, everything AI. And to help me have that discussion is Anpis Alwala, who's a vice president at Samasos.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the set.
Thank you.
And Kennedy Wangari, who's a data scientist at the UNEP.
Great, thank you for having me here.
Kennedy, in a minute or less,
Yes.
You've watched that piece about the innovators in Ethiopia having trouble raising funds for that wonderful, wonderful job that they're doing. How can we do away with these bottlenecks for African founders?
Great. That's a great question. To start with, if you look at the 2022 Global Digital AI Readiness, Global Digital Readiness Report for Africa, Kenya has been ranked as position 3 as one of the best destinations when it comes to investment, when it comes to digital transformation. And what that means, as a country, we've made strides. But on the flip side, in Africa, we still have challenges because we have the largest digital literate population. But if you look at our youthful people, we're still talking of there are no jobs, but we have a lot of socio-economic problems. So how can we be able to support to bridge that gap? And I think that answers the question. And one thing is, if you look at the legal provisions that are there within the country, if you look at the policies that are there, some of the, or most of them are not conducive to the startup ecosystem, even to the youths, because you might be having an innovative idea, but for you to implement that idea to a fully fledged business, you'll even find there are bureaucratic processes and such and such. So when you even also look at the legal provisions, they're a bit also a bit unfavorable. And I think currently there are reports of investors moving away from Kenya to different countries. You'd go on and talk more about the need for us to look at the legal provisions that we have to be more friendly, to have a more conducive legal environment that we can be able to operate. Again, on the other side, we're talking of, we have reports that we mostly within the fintech setting, we're able to receive a lot of venture capitalist funding, both internally and also globally. And I think that will be able to continue, because even if you also look at the government, we've made great strides in terms of how we're investing in people. The president last year launched the Startup Fund. We hope through that we'll be able to continue supporting our national ecosystem for the young people to innovate, to build more businesses. We also hope that the beneficiaries of the courses on entrepreneurship and innovation, that they'll be able to leverage on those skills. And we're also even seeing other organizations such as Lawyers Hub bringing capacity programs to train our young people so that they can be able to move from an innovative idea to work around through the challenges of funding, the legal compliance, to be able to have a business running. So there's more in terms of also that we need to do in terms of also training capacity, and how do we empower these young people so that they can be able to solve the social economic problems. I think also again is on the challenge of leadership. Again, we've had even also locally as a country some innovative and some really good programs, like the one that the former president launched in 2021. I can't exactly remember, to basically support the national ecosystem. There was also the National Innovation Ecosystem Conference and a few other projects I can't exactly remember. But well, the leadership in place, there was the promise in terms of what we could benefit from versus the actual implementation. So if you're able to get better leaders who are visionary and will help us implement these great programs that we have, I think it will go a long way in terms of helping our people to move from the innovative ideas that we have to solve our challenges and also be able to raise funding.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that. And Anpis, a lot of people's knowledge on AI is confined to ChatGPT, and you can't really blame them because of the great work that the machine is doing. But let's get to the basics. I want to understand, if, for instance, I prompt ChatGPT and tell it that Eric Munene is a hero, for instance, and he's on his way to maybe rescue a damsel in distress, where does he get all these other creative ideas and put it in that narrative? Let's say it's a movie, a short movie or something like that. Let's get to the basics.
So I'll try to explain AI in this sense. So AI is basically, as the word suggests, it's artificial intelligence. Mm-hmm. It's intelligence you're not born with. Somebody gives you that intelligence, okay. All right? Mm-hmm. So AI is transferring of human intelligence to a machine. Yep. You teach a machine how to behave like a human being, how to respond like a human being, how to detect things like a human being, okay? And that is done by feeding it with loads and loads and loads and loads of data. I'll give you an example. Today, for your phone, for you to put up your phone and it actually, you know, opens up, realizes it's Eric, okay? Somebody had to feed that model with lots of data. This is an eye, this is an ear, this is hair, this is this. And it's not one version of data. It's not Eric's version of data.
Yes.
They will do Eric's version of data. They will do my version of data, somebody else's version of data. Then with time, this machine learns, okay? When the machine learns, it can then make a decision based on the data, all right? I like giving an example of like it's, if you have a child and you're training this child, you have a dog at home, okay? So the child keeps seeing the dog Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, wherever the child is seeing a dog. So eventually they get, this is a dog.
Yes.
But now, everything that looks like a dog is a dog. So the child will go out to the farm and see a goat, and what do they call the goat? They call it a dog.
Yep.
Because I have not also fed this child with multiple images of what a dog looks like. So basically in simple explanation, AI is that. Transfer your intelligence to this machine, but feed it with lots of data and biased data. AI uses algorithms, okay, and eventually it learns to react the way you would react.
You've talked about biases. Kennedy, don't you think this is dangerous? Do you ever feel at some point the robots, because that's what AI is, do you ever feel that robots will one day become self-aware, maybe have emotions of their own?
What you've just described is what in technical terms we call artificial superintelligence, in that you're getting to a level where a machine can be able to fully take over now the human intelligence capabilities. It can be able to control itself, also like the example you shared of a robot. What I would say is that one, we are yet to get there in terms of the developments of artificial intelligence. That is, if we'll ever get there. Maybe based on the current projection and the development, we might get there. And the reason for that is because artificial intelligence, as it's been described, is that artificial intelligence does not have abstractive knowledge. And by that I mean, it does not have emotional intellect. It does not have the creative skills. It does not have the ability to innovate on its own. It does not have those problem-solving skills on its own. So what that means is that it just, if you feed this particular machine learning model or this artificial intelligence application with biased data, maybe on different forms. It could be gender, it could be race, it could be on social economic. The model or this particular AI application is going to learn from that data. And that means, and a good example that I like using is the case of social media and how the big tech companies have been able to use, like you could use data that maybe for a particular social group. And in this case, let's say maybe like the case we had in Syria, whereby journalists would share information on social media, but the applications, the AI application, the models by Facebook would flag them as criminals and also censorship. So when we talk of bias and discrimination, it's in various forms. If like while within the context of the social media platforms, you're able to see that AI that we thought could help us to combat misinformation and disinformation. On the flip side, it's the tool that's now amplifying racial bias and disinformation. And I would go on and give various examples of the different forms of racial discrimination and such. And that's why I think there's all this conversation around the threats that's being posed by artificial intelligence. One of them being key concern around racial discrimination and the bias that comes with artificial intelligence.
You've talked about something that I hold very, very dear. It is very, very close to my heart, and that's the issue of disinformation and misinformation. Yes. We are in the future right now. AI is here, and it's here with us, and it's moving very, very fast. Yes. Right now, someone can create a deepfake video of me, Eric Munene, as a journalist, and you know the situation in the country, things the way are politically. Yes. Someone can create a deepfake video of me, probably siding with one side of the political divide, and before I come to debunk that, it will be too late. What can be done to avoid such?
With the development of artificial intelligence, one thing you will understand even within our local context is that, as we've put it across, deepfake technology enables anyone who has access to your voice data, to your textual data, to your image data, to clone that piece of information and to maybe create a video or an image that something that you didn't say. And the challenge with that is that with deepfake technology is that you cannot be able to distinguish or to be able to decode between a fake and a real video or a real image. We have technologies like within the context of combating disinformation that people are leveraging when it comes to research on how can you be able now to decode this AI developed application that's a deepfake video. So there's still a lot of research being done, and this is because even if you even look at our local context, that is the Data Protection Act, and even globally, there are no clauses that really define how do you regulate or how do you, if you find yourself you working with deepfake technologies, how can you be able to distinguish or how can you be able to mitigate the issues around deepfake technologies? So there's no really practical solution per se. And also, if you even also look at the legal provisions that are there from global context, the European Union Artificial Intelligence Act, which is coming up. Yes. There's also locally the Data Protection Act. But what I would say is that, and what I always share with people is that don't be a conduit of misinformation. Just verify the kind of information that you want to share, because as of now, you cannot be able to tell between a real and a deepfake generated video just by a look of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Anpis, let's talk about our situation in the country. I know we've gone a bit far into the future. Let's come back home to how we can use AI, tailor-made solutions to our problems. Let's talk about agriculture. Let's talk about education. How can we use artificial intelligence to ensure that we better those areas?
I think I'll start by we are actually already using AI. It's just that we are not using AI in the robot thought that we think we are. Okay?
Okay.
I mean, applications like entertainment recommendations. For example, you went to Netflix, Chris on DSTV recommends something to you.
Netflix is AI.
So
it uses AI.
That recommendation is an algorithm that recommends
Okay.
what you want to watch. And how do they do that? That's machine learning. They figured you like this kind of movies,
Okay.
I've gathered data around you. So how we can use it, I think we're already using it, just that we don't know that we're using AI. But the application of AI for human good is broad.
Okay.
I know at Summer we've worked with literally a lot of Fortune 500 companies that some are in the agricultural space. Now, the uses we've seen in agriculture is AI has powered farmers in a way that you can actually detect. It's called crop ID. I can detect what's wrong with my farm. For example, there's weeds. For example, there's pests. AI uses that, feeds that data, sends it to the model. That means when the farmer needs to fumigate, for example, I'm not fumigating an entire farm. I'm fumigating only a specific part where this model is able to detect. That's where the problem is. What that translates to is I have better yield and I have less cost. I think another example, and I think that's being used in the Mara right now, is on wildlife protection.
Okay.
So there is a project where drones, rangers can only cover up until a certain area of the park, right? So there's drones that fly around.
Yes.
And what these do, they help with poaching, okay? How do they do that? The project entailed tagging, so it's called labeling, yeah? Labeling the elephants behind and the tail. Apparently that's the unique way to identify an elephant, yeah?
Yep.
And feeding it that data, what happens with this drone is it detects certain activities. So it's able to detect that's an elephant over there, that's a fire, that is a human being walking, that is a vehicle. Then what they do sends that information to the rangers go and or rather attack the poachers and all. So you're already using AI. Can it get better? For sure, it can get better. I look at areas like food waste management, and I think that's one of the key areas that as a country we can leverage on, right? And we do have models, we do have tools, we do have AIs that have actually done that can detect what is it that Eric likes eating. So if Eric walks into a restaurant, for example, I can only give Eric certain food because I figure that's what Eric likes. But I think how we can use AI is super broad. We can't cover it today.
Yes.
I, however, feel it's untapped. We've not tapped the full potential in Kenya. There's a lot, and it comes with a lot of education. It comes with a lot of exposure, and exposure in, let's say, our universities, our TVETs, of practical knowledge of AI. Not the theoretical one, okay? The practical knowledge of AI from start, identify, or rather collect data, label data, feed the machine, test it. It's I don't even think we are like 5%. I think there's a lot that we need to tap as a nation,
That's so. So, Ken, we've had these being said a lot of times, vijana wanatafuta kazi.
Yes.
You have a career spanning across different sectors, but on AI, what can the youth who are watching right now do to prepare for a career in AI?
Great. That's a great question. And I think this applies not just to the youth, but to everyone who is alive, because in almost every field we're generating data, and that means as we develop, as we grow into this Industry 4.0, we're looking at how do we leverage our data to support either decision making, or we grow our businesses, or whatever it is that we want to advance or to solve the various problems. And what that means is that one, there is the need to bridge the technical skills gap. We have artificial intelligence technologies evolving. We are building towards the future, as we call it, AI-powered future. So there's need for us to, everyone, from in whichever industry, if you're in, let's say maybe you're in finance, you need to look at how do you upskill yourself, maybe with data skills. And when I talk of bridging the gap, it's one, explore training programs that are there, be it, it could be training or educational programs, it could be online, it could be on-site, like within the country, we're able to see more and more programs that are coming up. That's AI programs, master's, degree level. JQuat has a BSc data science and AI. If you go to Strathmore, there's a master's. So first is take up that opportunity to upskill yourself. And the reason for that is that so that you're able to gain the technical skills to understand what are the limitations of these technologies, what are their uses, and how can you be able to use them within your field and your day-to-day. Let's say maybe, I like using the case example of, let's say maybe if you're in finance, how can you use the data skills that you've gained? The second thing is to push as many of us to move into research. That is research and development on artificial intelligence and all these emerging technologies. And if you look at the developed countries, they're doing quite well when it comes to investing their people and pushing the youthful and almost everyone who has access to go back to school to learn. And I'm excited because even locally, there are already arrangements by next year to have the Kenya National Research for Institute in Robotics and Artificial Intelligence, basically to promote research on emerging technologies. And that's quite a great step that I think also, as many of us who want to go into R&D, that's research and development on artificial intelligence and all these other technologies, that's a great way. And also, I think that this mainly goes to the government when it comes now to creating a conducive environment from the regulations to ensuring that for us, once we've gained the skills, we can be able to use the skills to develop these applications and use them in a more responsible and ethical way.
Okay, so in the interest of time, we have to end it here, but it's a great discussion. I really would want you to come back. We have this very important discussion, but this is a yes or no question. Anne, please. Do you think AI is going to replace some jobs?
AI will replace some jobs. I mean, the World Economic Forum, I think they did a report in 2030 that said AI will create 97 million jobs, but 85 million will get lost.
All right.
So it's actually, some will, but yes, it's actually creating jobs. And I mean, we've seen like some alone has 3,000 people working on AI.
All right. So, yeah. Thank you very much, Anne Alwala, the Vice President at Summersource, and Kennedy Wangari, a data scientist from UNEP. We are talking about matters AI, artificial intelligence, the opportunities, the threats that AI might present to humans. My name is Eric Munene. Our sign language interpreter for this broadcast has been Catherine Simaloi. I take it back to Linda Alela. Over to you, Linda.
Well, thank you so much, Eric Monini, as well as the guests this evening. The analyst says, well, this is a must-watch every Friday in this time and age where everybody is headed technology. And James Waititu says the future is indeed digital, and therefore we have to learn and learn and learn. Quite informative right there, Iwangi says. And of course, we're looking forward to more and more episodes of Disruptive Friday. Thank you so much as well for watching. I must admit that it's been great doing this with you, and we're looking forward to have you again on Friday. Thank you so much for always keeping it TV47. My name is Linda Lela. Do have yourself a lovely night ahead and a lovely weekend.
The news that matters the most is the one that hits close to home. When disasters strike, we are there to inform you. When the bullets are flying, we tell you who's shooting and why. Reporting on your victories, your health, your money, your security, your past, present, and future. We are interested in telling the stories of creativity, hard work, and resilience that you are known for. That is our job. This is my job. My name is Victor Moyakane, and it's my honor to bring you this news this way every Thursday night on the home of Untold Stories.
They say money makes the world go round. So let's slow things down a bit. Put things in perspective. From the markets to the streets to the stocks, we make the complex comprehensible. Join me, Hibak Said, on TV47 Business News for market insights like never before.
Siasa bila uongozi bora ni sawa na mfupa bila nyama.
Hiyo mashindano ni mashindano ya urembo ama ya kazi.
Hiyo itahakikisha kwamba kila Mkenya ako ndani ya bima ya matibabu.
Kila siku ya Jumanne kwenye kipindi cha Matukio Mtambuko, ungana nami Paul Kirobi tukujuze yanayojiri katika kaunti zote 47. Tujadili maswala komavu.
Kwa kubwa, shikamoni, kwa wadogo marhaba, ndizo salamu kutoka ukanda wa Pwani.
Jina langu ni Kombo Alfayo, nikiripotia runinga ya TV47.
Jina langu ni Abdulaziz Nameka kutoka kaunti ya Lamu.
Jina langu ni Paula Munio.
Ungana nami Isaac Famba kutoka kaunti hii ya Trans Nzoia.
Kutoka kaunti ya Kakamega, jina langu ni Violet Auma.
Nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka mjini Naivasha kwenye kaunti ya Nakuru, mie ni Willy Dennis Njiru.
Usikose.
From the heart of the city to the walls of power and the corridors of justice. News and newsmakers. We live in a world where a lot is happening around us. It is crucial we make sense of what's happening. Information is power, information is knowledge, and news is changing. We will bring it to you, and we'll be at the heart of it all to give you the context, a fresh perspective of politics and power. Only on TV47, the home of Untold Stories.
What's making the headlines? What does it mean to you? How does it affect you?
We answer all these questions every Sunday for half an hour on To The Point Show. Hey, I'm Grace Kuriakanja, and a lot has happened this week. Let's dive into it.
Wanasema wasemao kuwa elimu ni bahari haiishi kwa kuchotwa. Wakati mwingi natangamana na wanafunzi madarasani, sio kama mwalimu bali kama nahodha kwenye kipindi cha tasnia ya elimu. Na iwapo utanikosa madarasani, basi utanipata nyanjani nikisaka habari zenye usawa, ufasaha na ukweli. Na iwapo utanikosa nyanjani, bila shaka utanipata studioni hapa nikisoma habari na kuendesha mijadala mikomavu. Mimi ni Andrin Kilemi, mpenzi wa lugha ya Kiswahili na elimu kwa jumla.
Everyone is obsessed with property. But when should you buy? How do you know you're getting a good deal? And is there ever a good time to sell?
You never go wrong with real estate.
Go wrong on paint, when you go wrong on lighting, that's it, you're done. But when you go right on painting and the paintwork, and you go right to the lighting, it depends also with the setup. So you can do a lot of lighting at a wrong setup.
Now the county government comes in and says that you have developed in a place that you should not go this way, and the county decides to demolish.
Right.
Where do you rent?
On The Realtor, we don't just showcase the latest properties, we also focus on topics affecting the real estate industry so you know what to do